Yo, what's going on, everyone? My name is Ranger Flame, and welcome everyone to episode 28 of Black Clover. We are going into the new chapter, the new arcs, ladies and gentlemen. We have finally finished the Clover Destruction arc, and now we're getting into more of the series. This episode, though, when you look at it, if I could best describe it, it's if you watched the first episode of My Hero Academia, it was mostly a filler episode. But if you look at it as a positive in this episode, knowing from just any other anime, if it's Boruto, if it's Naruto, if it's just any other series, they always have that comedy, and today was a comedy episode. I actually fairly enjoyed it, but one thing I want to talk about in today's episode first that I really loved, and I cannot wait to hear this, like, both the opening and the ending for 12 to 13 episodes or however long they do it. Because one thing I want to say to Black Clover in this series, one thing I want to say is they absolutely kill it with the openings and endings. Like, visualize, it's but the music, like, whoever they pick for artists to make the music for this series, it is absolutely incredible. In my own personal opinion, for openings 1 and, ending 1, opening 2, ending 2, opening 3, and ending 3 are both fantastic. I listened to these songs before actually seeing what the opening looks like for Black Clover or the ending, and they just pick such beautiful and fantastic songs. I listen to these songs when I'm not even watching the episode. Like, I'm just saying they are killing it with each and every one. There's not even one I dislike right now. The opening, though, I definitely feel it is actually better than, opening 2's. And the ending visualize, it's kind of a Noel Asta ship if you look at it. It doesn't really put, like, a lot of stuff into it. A lot of the backstory, they actually show a lot what's going to happen. I don't really want to put any spoilers out, manga readers. If you watch, the ending and what it is, you'll understand it. To kind of put it in perspective, Noel gets more character development throughout the anime right here. She's going to go to a point where it's a life and death situation, and that's what the visual for ending 3 look like, or I think it's ending 3 look like. So that's, I guess, the big thing. I'll just talk about that in the spoilers, but I just love it. And the ending song is definitely my favorite, song in the Black Clover series so far, so props to them on that. Visualize, not so great. I prefer ending 2, sorry, but the song in general, I love it, and that's what I want to talk about, and more throughout the opening as well that we get in in this episode here is one thing I want to consider, because like, Black Clover has a big cast, right? And, each time we look at the characters, it kind of focuses on episodes or an episode of a character. So we know starting from Black Clover, we had Yuno and Asta. Their kind of character development. They were from the church. They wanted to become magic knights. We know their backstory. We get to Magna's backstory of he was this guy that was always destroying this town, putting pranks, destroying everything. And eventually he became a man and became, a magic knight for the Black Bulls. Knowing luck, he was always, one of those guys that were by himself. He always, wanted his mother's support. We know that his mother passed away, and he still thinks of her, getting stronger and etc. like that. Going more into the series, though, we have Gosh, I think his name is, if I do believe. I don't want to even spoil his magic. We don't know anything about his magic yet. If you know what his character is, he's a pretty weird character, not gonna lie. And I'm pretty sure it might just be the Black Bulls in general, but Gosh is one of those characters which is really weird, because he's always looking at his sister Mary all the time. He's always thinking about her. We even seen, him actually pick clothes up for her during, I guess that Black Clover episode when all the Black Bulls were going out shopping. So you might think he's a pretty weird person right now, but he gets a super big character development going into this arc that we're going to see from him. And I like that because, each arc we get into Black Clover, we always focus on one character, their backstory, how they ended up in the Black Bulls, and we are going to get Gosh's turn throughout this. And I like that because, each character that we get in this series is going to focus on more and more characters, and you never know. He might be a weird person right now, but after this is all done, a lot of you might change your opinions. And we get one more big thing in the opening as well, is Yami's character as well, just like I just talked about Gosh's right here. Yami's potential power, it spoils just a little bit in the opening, but man, when you see this in animation, when he fights that certain person, like, he's a badass right now. But when that episode comes up, or I guess episodes, I don't know how they're gonna do it, Yami, you guys are definitely going to look forward to him. Like, hands down, best, captain of the Magic Knights for the Black Bulls. Like, or even just like captains in general, Yami is the best. So I'm pretty excited for that. But kind of enough talking from the openings and endings. Let's focus more on today's episode. This episode today, really, like I said, it was comedy. It was mostly filler. It was focusing a lot on Finn's character, because knowing from Finn's character, he always wants to try to get a girl. He, was setting up a mixer where it's hanging out with 3 women, and it's really just trying to impress them and maybe get with them. And we see that, in today's episode with Finn, he just wants, I guess, Black Bull members. I guess he's looking for each individual to not be weird about it, because each Black Bull individual is, I guess, not normal. He talks, there's Luck, which he always wants to fight someone even though he takes them. There's Yami, who's always, I guess, judging people. You have Noel, which goes there more. I'll talk about that. You have Asta, which is probably the most regular guy out of the Black Bulls. You have Gosh, who's always, talking about his sister. He's actually carving a statue out of wood, which is actually pretty cool but weird. Gordon in this episode, man, you feel so bad for him, and like Gordon is like one of my favorite Black Bull members, even though we didn't even get to see him, a lot, but we definitely get the comedy in this episode because he's a really nice guy, but he just can't talk loud. He's always whispering, like that's how he talks, and he could have been one of the perfect people to go towards here, but no one could hear you, Gordon. No one could understand you, even though you're a nice guy. So, mostly this episode, he's just kind of trying to find wingman, so he gets a date. Luck, Asta go with them. And we get the Asta x Noel shippers right here. Going more into Black Clover, you're going to see Noel's definite character change going towards Asta, because in this, them going to a mixer, Asta's gonna be talking with different women, and we get a different side of Noel because she's actually jealous of Asta hanging around with other people. Like, we've seen it mostly every single episode, or 2 episodes or 3 episodes, that Noel has a crush on Asta. So really, she's kind of following them to this mixer here and there. Seeing that Asta, hopefully he fails, so Noel still has a chance throughout this. One big thing I want to talk about in today's episode that actually follows more into the arc right here going into Black Clover is Rebecca Scarlet. And a lot of you might see her character from time to time. For example, when and Asta first went to the Clover Kingdom to participate in the Magic Knight exams, we've seen her with all of her siblings. And the big thing as well is, if you remember the girl that Asta saved versing Raw, that was one of Rebecca's siblings as well. And they have this kind of connection, and you look at it because Rebecca's life is like Asta. Asta is telling her the story that, hey, I know kind of the struggle. Like, I have a lot of siblings. I grew up in a church with only one bed, sleeping like with other people. It's different because now I'm part of the Magic Knights. I have my own bed, but I still miss them. And it's kind of a good relationship right there. You look at as Rebecca as, I guess, a girl Asta, because really her life going around with, other siblings. Like, she's taking care of her other siblings so that, she can make a living and, help them all out. And Asta kind of understands that because, he went through that life as well, and he's supporting them more and more now, because when he gets paid by the Magic Knights, he sends mostly all of his money to the church. So that's kind of, I guess, a relationship they had right there. I don't want to talk more about her character because she is going to be really important going towards more of Black Clover. We still have those Noel moments of, her and Asta, talking to Rebecca. Kind of a funny, and stupid moment of Asta's part right here, because knowing Asta, he still has feelings for Sister Lily, but since she is a girl, from the church, she can't marry. She can't marry whatsoever. So Asta's, in that loop of always thinking about Sister Lily, but that'll probably change more in the future of Black Clover. So when you look at this episode, it's like, Asta, this girl likes you, man, and you're saying you're literally blowing her off. What are you doing? So we get that part. And I guess the thing I didn't like about today's episode is we see Baha. Call him for this series now is Baha. We see him in the episode again, trying to get with the girl. It's literally, if you look at him as a second Finn, his character, I don't really give a crap about. And that was today's episode of Black Clover. Like I said, you look into it, it was a filler episode. Was it hilarious though and funny? I do think so. I really, I guess enjoyed it. And just in general, I cannot wait to go into more of Black Clover. We do get those episodes here or there it's like a common thing in anime that we'll get episodes like these. But as a start, you know, it's not bad. We're definitely gonna get more into that building point of this series in this arc, man. This arc I cannot wait for, man. Gosh, this character development. We see Yami, Asta, and one big thing. I totally forgot about this talking about the review. They give a little hint in the opening right here. I'll show an image on screen that a lot of people, I'll just say this right now, I don't want to put spoilers, but if you search Asta on Google or just anything in general, you'll find a certain picture, and I'm surprised. I think they're going to be doing it this arc. Like, I feel like they're going to be doing it this part, because I thought more in towards the manga, and it's only confirmed 50 episodes for Black Clover. I thought it was going to be like maybe into the second season if they do make one, but they showed it off here. And you know, when you see this here for Asta, for his power, it's going to be something unreal. Like, I don't want to put spoilers because I really want to talk about it when we actually see it in animation, which is going to be so sick. You guys are going to love Asta's character a lot. You know, his change. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. They might just put a tease in there, but either way, that was my, I guess, review of today's episode of Black Clover for the new opening and ending and this episode. With it today, though, I think I'm only going to give this episode, guys, a 7 out of 10. I feel like it deserves like that. You know, it wasn't a beyond good episode, but it definitely was comedy, and it's definitely, I guess, a good role they're putting up going towards more of Black Clover. You know, I feel like a good comedy side to laugh all the way through, you know, to kind of refresh, because we did have a dark arc, all right? We did have a dark arc with the Eye of the Midnight Sun, so it's good to actually have a little breather here or there. But either way, guys, I feel like Black Clover is still going to be good. I'm liking it. It's finally getting to that part where I'm excited for every single Tuesday for a good episode of Black Clover, even though this is late in the reviews. I apologize from that, but have a good day, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Comment down below of what your favorite part of today's episode was. Like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. But I'll see you guys next Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever I upload next week for a new episode of Black Clover. As always, guys, have a great day.